They say she get it from her mama. Mama say you fuck her right. Body rude is unpolite. Tell me in the humble type.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you do not know me, my name is Kalia Imani White, and I am just now starting my journey of trying to be consistent with uploading on YouTube. But here on my channel, I like to prioritize honesty, integrity, and accountability. Okay, if you do not have any of those, then this might not be the channel for you, because I am guaranteed to piss somebody off. I do it every day in my real life, so I'm sure that it'll happen on here. Especially with today's topic, where we're going to be talking about red flags in dating in your 20s, especially like when there are people who are like, oh, there were no red flags. Yes, there were. Okay, so let's jump into this topic without further ado. So dating in your 20s is wild because people they swear that there were no red flags, none, when the person that they chose turned out to be toxic. But baby, there were red flags everywhere. They just weren't neon enough for you to take them seriously. It wasn't that you couldn't see the signs. It was that you just didn't want them to be signs. Now, let me start here, okay? I do not want this to come off as judgmental. I have dated people in the past. Usually, they don't go very far because I can spot a red flag from a mile away, okay? I'm that person, the smallest thing, right? But my husband and I have been on and off again since we were 15 years old, okay? That's my baby, that's my bestie. And we finally decided, like, once we got to that point in our 20s where we were mature enough and our frontal lobe was fully developed, we're like, we're never going to leave each other alone. We love each other. Let's make this work, and let's work on ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves for one another. And that is exactly what we did. And our relationship has been flourishing ever since. And it is such a beautiful, healthy, and happy marriage that we have. So I don't want this to come off as judgmental. I just want women to understand that settling for less because you refuse to see the red flags is not going to get you to that fairy tale ending that you think you're going to have. So let's start with topic number one, which is that red flags usually show up as inconveniences at first. So they don't usually start off as disrespect. And if they do start off as disrespect, then don't entertain it, end it immediately. Because there are some women who will allow a man to call them out of their name or call them like a hoe or anything like that. The very first day that they meet them, or like even if they haven't met yet, they're like texting back and forth. That's a line drawer for me. Get out of my face. No. He needs to get out of your face. No. We don't do that. We don't play those games. But if this is like a normal person who's not like completely traumatized and maybe in the closet and isn't disrespecting women outright, they start off as inconveniences at first. So they'll do things like cancel plans at the last minute, or they'll try to plan something with you at the last minute. We don't do last minute over here. No, you cannot plan something with me at the last minute. You need to take your time. I'm not available on call for you, period. They take forever to text back unless they want something. They're emotionally inconsistent. 1 minute they love you, they like you, they're love bombing you, and the next minute they're withdrawn and you haven't heard from them in 2 or 3 days because they were busy or going through something. No. They avoid real conversations. Everything is very surface level. Oh, you're cute. You're this. You look good. And oh, for real, that's what I want to do when I blah, blah, right? But never the nitty gritty. When they were growing up, this is how things occurred with their mom. This is what their dad did. Their deepest, darkest fear, is secret. It's not saying that as soon as you start talking to someone, they have to share those things with you. But if you are truly planning on building a future with someone, and that is your intention, those conversations do come up. And then the moment that you realize, you know what, I'm gonna pull away, they love bomb you, and they give you the attention that you've been desiring, that you've been desperately needing. And at this point, you're not calling it toxic just yet. You're calling it bad timing, or he's just going through a lot, or he's just busy. You're doing everything you can to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you're not giving that same courtesy and that same generosity to yourself. But let me tell you, he's not busy. He's not going through a lot. It's not just bad timing. This is just who that person is. This is them at their core. And this is something that I feel a lot of women struggle with. I'll say people. That's what I'll say, okay? People believe words over actions. And that, as a woman, I can say I've seen a lot of my friends, myself included, go through this where you believe words over someone's actions. Well, he said. It doesn't matter what he said. What is he doing? What is he showing you? His actions and his patterns are what matter, nothing else. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make when dating in their 20s. They believe in potential over patterns. They're like, he says he's going to work on himself. Okay, that's cool, right? Everyone needs to. But is he actually working on himself? Or he says he's not ready for a relationship, but he's willing to seek all of the benefits. That is the answer. That's the answer, period. No relationship. They just want your body. People will show you exactly who they are. You just hope that they'll become who you want them to be. And a lack of boundaries is the biggest red flag. A lot of people don't miss the signs. They just don't have boundaries strong enough to uphold against those signs. You let things slide. You gave them the benefit of the doubt 2 or 10 times. You told yourself over and over again, it wasn't that serious. It's not that serious. It's not a big deal. It's not that serious. It is that serious. It's your time, it's your life, and it's being wasted. Because every time you ignore a red flag, it turns into a bigger one later on. The things that you tolerate in the beginning, later on become things that you complain about. And this is because your desire is blindfolding you. And I just want to put this out there. I know that not everyone is Christian. However, this is my channel and I am very Christian. God does not confuse. Anything that is holy will not be confusion. You are not going to be confused. If someone is serious about you, you will know. You will not have to question, I wonder if he's serious about me. I wonder if he feels this way about me. I wonder what he meant when he said that. That is not the way God operates. Not at all. If you have to question it, it's not for you. And that's the problem with a lot of people in their 20s. When you want something badly enough, you'll rationalize anything to believe that what your thought process is what is in reality. And that's not the case. You'll say things like, oh, they're just tired. They're not used to relationships. They're not used to someone like me. I can love them right. For some reason, you like to think that you're better. You're not. They've been hurt before. That's a big one. They've been hurt before. I won't do that to them. They didn't mean it. Everyone has flaws. Yes, we do. But that doesn't mean that you go around hurting people and wasting one another's time. Now, does it? So yeah, sure. Everyone has flaws, but not everyone's flaws are intended to harm you. Some of y'all are out here dating red flags wrapped in potential because you're obsessed with the idea of their potential, not of who they actually are. You saw the red flags. You just were not healed enough to walk away. Your loneliness said, it's not that bad. And your ego said, oh, I can fix them. I'm different. I'm not what they're used to. Your fantasy said, they just need love. This actually kind of reminds me of Halle Bailey. I love her down. I love her down. Okay. But everyone and their mama was telling that girl, get away from DDG. Girl, no. Everyone else could see the red flags, but she was very blinded. And she really had that thought process of, but I'm different. He's never been with someone like me. Which, if you listen to her entire album, which again, I am a Halle Bailey fan. I listened to her entire album. Okay. And I read all those lyrics. I love her. But she said multiple times in multiple different songs, he ain't never been with someone like me. He's not used to girls like me. I'm different from the girls that he's used to. In multiple songs, she thought that she was different, so she deserved special treatment. We saw the treatment that she got, that she's still getting. So you saw all the red flags. You made up all these things in your brain. Oh, I can fix them. I'm different. But in reality, it's just not going to work. And you muted reality because you didn't want to hear it. And anyone who told you that it wasn't going to work, you didn't want to hear it. So you walked the other way. And then because you walked the other way from people who told you didn't want to hear it, now you're forcing yourself to make it work because you don't want them to be right, which is your ego also getting in the way, which is a trap that I see a lot of young girls in their 20s fall into. So here are some red flags that people pretend are no big deal, just in case you were wondering. They don't apologize, they deflect. So I'm raising a 15-year-old girl. And she is like an ace when it comes to reading red flags. She had this little friend, they were talking, and I was like, well, why aren't you guys talking anymore? And she said, when he ghosted her, he decided to spin the block and come back, he wouldn't take any accountability, right? Now, if she lacked self-awareness, if she lacked self-esteem, if I had not instilled that within her, they would be back talking. But because she is self-aware, because she has high self-esteem, and because she values herself, she said, no, you're not going to talk to me and then tell me that the reason that you went ghost is because X, Y, and Z. You're going to take full accountability and you're going to apologize, or we're not going to talk, period. And they're not talking. And that's my girl. So a big red flag. They don't apologize. They deflect. Their jokes are low-key disrespectful. And when you call them out on it, it's always, oh, you can't take a joke. And you fall into the trap of wanting to be the cool girl. So you allow yourself to take a joke that is disrespectful. Sometimes they don't ask anything about you. And if they don't, it's because they don't care. A man who wants to know about you will ask. They have no long-term vision. I really do challenge women who are dating to ask the men, where do they see themselves in 10 years? Where do they see themselves financially, emotionally, relationship-wise? Like, where do you see yourself in 10 plus years? A lot of men can't answer that question. They get uncomfortable with you when you talk about standards. It can be the simplest standard, and a man will sit there and be like, oh, so you're trying to put boundaries on me. So you're trying to put these standards on me, and I don't have any standards on you. That doesn't have anything to do with me. That's your lack of. However, I have standards. You're either going to follow them or fall back. Either or. You feel anxious when you get a text message from them because you never know which version of them you're going to get. So this is actually something that I get from my dad. So my dad is a narcissist, right? So you never know which version of him you're going to get. He's either going to text you, he's going to be a great father, he's going to love bomb you, or he's going to text you and it's going to be the worst day of your life because he's decided to turn whatever he's going through into your problem now, right? Which is why I'm no contact, because even from my family, I do not tolerate that. So these aren't tiny issues. These are blueprints of the relationship that is to come if you choose to continue to belittle yourself in order to have this person around. And here's the harsh truth. Most people don't walk into a blindsided relationship. You knew what was coming, you saw it, and you decided to stay. You walked in hopeful. You walked in lonely. You walked in trying to prove something. You walked in ignoring the signs that did not match the story that you wanted. The red flags were there. You just really, really, really did not want to believe that they were. In your 20s, the biggest skill that you can learn is not dating perfect people. There's no such thing as a perfect person. But the biggest skill that you can learn is to pay attention to the red flags. You don't need a red flag to hit you in the face. A yellow flag should be enough. Because sometimes the difference between peace and heartbreak is the boundary that you refuse to set. Okay, and that is it for today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that I did not offend anyone too much. But it is the truth. You know, you do have to be aware, and I want what's best for all women out there. I'm rooting for every woman all the time, always, okay? And we have to stop saying that there were no signs, there were no red flags. There are always red flags. There are always signs. We just have been taught to ignore them. We have taught to not see them as red flags because we're all human. And we've been taught to belittle ourselves to become everything for a man who deserves nothing. Okay, so if you guys want to see more videos like this, if you want to see my face, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, like and share this video to someone who you feel needs to hear it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.
I put that on my mama, on my